Hey, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Sunil Show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning into another beautiful video. Well, on today's video, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about the top 10 disturbing torture and execution methods ever in history, ladies and gentlemen. Well, if you have not yet seen this video, the full video is below the like button. Feel free to hit the like button while you are at it. But before you do, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the intro, shall we? So, ladies and gentlemen, back on the screen right now, as you can see right now, this is the 10 disturbing torture and execution methods ever to be involved in human history, ladies and gentlemen. So, today we are going to be taking a look at this video, and also I'm going to tell you whether these are actually true and if this is still executed today. Will this be executed today, and if so, will you like it? So, let's go.
Centuries, human beings have been devising ingenious ways to torture and execute one another. Whether these were used to force a confession for a crime, to punish enemies, or simply to act out sadistic fantasies, torture devices are as old as we are.
Wow. Okay. Seriously strange twisted tales. 10 shocking torture devices. Number 10, the rooting tub. Okay.
Imagine being placed on your knees in a wooden...
Is this real, ladies and gentlemen? Did they actually do this in the 1980s or maybe older than that? Wow.
Okay. Or iron barrel with only your head protruding from the top. If you think what awaits you is just a long stay in an uncomfortable position, the truth was far worse. You would be given regular meals, but this was not to keep you healthy. Okay. As the barrel filled with urine and excrement, it would soon begin to attract insects and vermin that would begin to eat away at your flesh. Additionally, the bacteria from these bodily fluids would cause skin necrosis. This method of torture was also known as scaphism, or the Spanish mantle. Other forms of scaphism have been used throughout the centuries. An alternate form dates back to the Persians, who would hollow out a tree trunk and place the unfortunate victim inside.
Inside a tree trunk? Are you mad?
The victim would be naked with just the extremities protruding. Then the victim would be slathered with milk and honey, giving special attention.
Milk and honey to, obviously to get insects and bees flowing inside, so that it may, be instant. Okay, I get it.
Into the eyes, mouth, and genital region. Afterward,
if you're eating or if you're watching this video while you're eating, I'm really sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I had to do it.
The victim would be left in the sun or floating on a stagnant body of water, as vermin and insects would begin to feast on the body. Death would occur as a result of blood loss and septic shock. Death by scaphism could last days.
Yeah, that's fair. That's true. Number 9, the seesaw of death. Okay, I think I heard about it. I heard about it, but I don't know if this is what is the same that I'm thinking or not. Let's see.
Picture yourself being hung upside down by your feet. Your hands are tied behind.
I have already heard about this one. This was actually used in the early 1800s and to 1900s in the Middle Eastern England, I suppose.
And the weight of your own body and blood flowing to your head makes it difficult to scream as you see the saw about to sink in to your flesh. You cannot struggle or beg for mercy, even as the metal teeth carve into the soft flesh between your thighs. Then comes the sawing of bone and cartilage. You pray for a fast death, but most of the blood has gone to your head, so blood loss is minimal, and the saw has yet to reach a vital organ. Your death will be slow and excruciating, and through the delirium of pain you can hear the sound of cheering. During the Middle Ages, accused witches and blasphemers could find themselves victim to the saw torture. This method was invented by the Chinese and
Chinese, okay, I'm sorry, not England. Chinese people, okay, Chinese had some weird way of, killing people with, death warrant.
Popularized by the Romans. The accused would be hung upside down by the ankles while two executioners sawed the victim in half, beginning between the legs. The upside-down position ensured that blood would pool in the victim's head, slowing the bleeding process and therefore delaying death. Yes. It is rumored that the Emperor Caligula particularly enjoyed watching these deaths while he ate, remarking that the suffering of the victims enhanced the flavor of his meals.
Wow.
Most remarkably, death by sawing was a quiet one, as the position and motion of the saw through the pelvic bone inhibited the victim's ability to scream.
The Four Horsemen. I think so. I also know about this. This is actually a person tied to each four ends of a horse on the opposite direction, and they used to stretch his body to the opposite directions, and the body would tear like paper. So I think so. This is what it used to be, but let's see.
Perhaps you have fallen out of favor with the local government. Perhaps you have been labeled a troublemaker, perhaps even treasonous or blasphemous. Now, the authorities are tasked with silencing you before you can rile up any more followers. You have insulted the king, and there is only one acceptable punishment, but it comes in multiple steps, each which is deadly on its own. First comes the dragging through the streets of town. The public must see what happens to troublemakers like you. Next, perhaps beheading or possibly having your limbs ripped from your torso by galloping horses. A popular punishment for treason in England was the act of hanging, drawing, and quartering. The method began by tying the accused by rope to a horse and dragging him to the gallows. Once hoisted up by the neck, the victim would possibly be disemboweled. However, over centuries, the act evolved into the practice of tying each of the victim's limbs to 4 individual horses, then setting each horse in opposite directions, thereby tearing the victim in pieces.
Ooh.
Likely the most famous victim of this brutal death was the Scottish patriot William Wallace, who suffered each step to the...
Okay, William Wallace. Who was William Wallace? I've never heard about him. William Wallace. So William Wallace was a Scottish knight who became one of the main leaders during the First War of Scottish independence. Along with Andrew Murray, Wallace defeated an English army at the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Real Braveheart. Okay, they actually they actually did take a movie on regarding this subject. Okay. Apple was married in 2 years, 5 months. Wallace was put to death. Yeah. See, this is what happened. William Wallace was actually put to death as the same way they have described in the video because of sleeping with the princess. Yeah.
Fullest extent. Wow. He was first hanged for robbery and murder, disemboweled for sacrilege, hanged, drawn, and beheaded for treason. His story was portrayed in the popular Mel Gibson movie, Braveheart.
The pair of anguish. What is that?
This one goes out to the ladies. Ooh. Have you been accused of adultery, perhaps witchcraft, or simply just stating your opinion when it would have been better suited you hold your tongue? There is a special punishment in store for women who forget their place. In the medieval age, a special device was used to punish homosexuals and women accused of various illicit acts. The device was a pear-shaped probe that would be inserted either rectally or vaginally. Once inserted, the device would be cranked, opening the instrument's sharp pedals. This would internally eviscerate the victim as the device was twisted inside. The instrument came in many convenient sizes.
Okay, we got that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna skip this part to the straight next one. What's on the next list? Oh, I cannot see more than this, ladies and gentlemen. A watery walk. Number 6 on the list. What is that?
Have you made the uncomfortable mistake of borrowing money from a mob loan shark and now you can't pay? Or perhaps you're a rat. The mafia has a tried and true method for dealing with the likes of you. The act of encasing a victim's feet in cement and tossing them into a body of water to drown has surely been...
This is what... If you're not able to pay loan which you have bought from the mafia. First of all, if you have bought money from the mafia, chances are you're gonna be dead anyway, ladies and gentlemen. There's no point in, pleading to the mafia. You're dead.
The stuff of fiction. Popularized as a tongue-in-cheek method of doing away with snitches by the American mafia, cement shoes were thought to be purely the invention of crime fiction novelist E.L. Doctorow. However, in May of 2016, the body of 26-year-old Peter Martinez washed ashore. The body was wrapped in plastic bags, and most notably, his feet were encased in cement. Martinez
are they still doing this till date?
Was thought to be a member of a Brooklyn gang, and his murder has yet to be solved.
Oh, they're still doing it as of right now, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
Death by drowning is not often as peaceful and tranquil as it is portrayed.
Okay, now I get it why they actually use cement. Okay, my brain gets too late for this.
In many movies and in television shows. The first instinct is to hold your breath, but as your body and brain starve for oxygen, the urge to inhale becomes too overwhelming, and you will do so involuntarily just before you lose consciousness. As water is sucked into the larynx, your natural gag suffocation. Perhaps you'll
let's just skip it. Number 5 on the list is the stretched thin. Okay.
Lower back problems, stiff joints, well, we've got a deal for you. The device is simple to use, but you will need the help of a partner. All you have to do is lay back on a wooden table.
Okay, this an execution method, or is just for relieving your back problem?
Allow your partner or assistant to strap your wrists and ankles, turn the crank, and voila! Your joint pains are cured forever, because they will be
non-existent. You will be dead probably.
The rack dates all the way back to ancient Greece. The concept was simple. A victim strapped to a table and bound by the wrists and ankles. Then a wheel would be cranked, activating a system of pulleys and levers, gradually lengthening the table and stretching the victim's body.
Wow.
As more and more strain was put on the victim's joints, they would eventually dislocate. Muscle tissue would tear, and before long, the joints would separate entirely. If the torture continued long enough, limbs would be torn completely away from the body.
Okay, man, I get it. You don't need to explain it fully, man. God damn it, bro.
Back in 1447.
Number 4. Forked. Okay, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm skipping this too much, I'm really sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That's because this video is too disturbing and not suited for YouTube, so that's why I'm skipping a lot. But if you do want to see the full video of it without me interrupting, as I told you before, the full video link is down below the like button. Go, feel free to hit the like while you're at it, and also see that it has been uploaded to YouTube by Rob Gavigan, and he has 3.9 million subscribers. So okay, one good piece of advice for you, bro. If you're watching this, obviously, if you're watching this, please do cut short these kind of videos, in order to make it interesting. Don't need to explain it.
Seen any of the Saw films, you have seen devices of torture and death that are as complicated as a Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah.
Devices with timers, intricate pulley systems, and innovative complexity.
Okay.
However, a torture device doesn't need to be complicated to be effective. The Heretics Fork was a simple design, a double-edged fork strapped to a victim's neck, preventing the wearer from being able to lower the head or speak. This was a particularly effective method during the Spanish Inquisition.
Okay, so they actually put it on the neck of the person. So every time he has to go like this. So if it bends down, the fork is going to insert right over here and out his mouth. So,
to force confessions from those accused of heresy.
You really
the irony in using this device for confessions, prolonging early see, and eventually
I get it.
If the victim decides accused.
Yes, we get it. Number 3 on a seat is have a seat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what that is too.
Most of us have seen magicians and performance artists perform the feat of lying on a bed of nails, only to rise again unharmed. While this trick appears...
That's because the nails across the bed are spread evenly across the weight of the, across the weight as well as the height of the person that is doing the magic. So even pressure applies, loss of gravity, and that's how
is impressive. It is reliant on the simple fact that the body's weight is evenly distributed among the points of the nails, making no one point strong enough to penetrate the skin. However, the simply named chair of torture was a completely different matter. A prisoner would be restrained to a wooden chair adorned with up to 1,500 spikes along the back, seat, and armrest.
1,500 spikes on this goddamn chair, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you die really soon, man.
As the sharp points of the spikes buried into the skin, the victim would slowly bleed out, making death
I probably think that the chair is gonna be all red, ladies and
gentlemen. Slow
You
and
don't need to paint
excruciating.
it.
In some variations of the torture chair, holes were put in the bottom of the chair so that a fire could be placed beneath it, adding...
Okay. What? Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Let's rewind that bit.
And excruciating.
Okay.
In some variations of the torture chair, holes were put in the bottom of the chair so that a fire could be placed...
Okay, I cannot understand it. First and foremost, you got 1,500 spikes on the chair. Still, you need a hole to put a fire underneath your ass. Oh my god.
Beneath it.
Oh my god.
Adding another interesting level to the prisoner's torment.
Number 2, will you accept the charges?
The art of torture isn't something restricted to ancient or medieval times. Modern technology has brought with it new and innovative methods of inflicting pain. Welcome to the Tucker State Prison Farm, located in Jefferson County, Arkansas. In the early 1960s, this prison had a reputation for subjecting its inmates to various tortures, including beatings, needles placed under the fingernails, and most infamously, the use of the Tucker telephone. This device was constructed from the parts of an old crank-style telephone, giving the device its name. The telephone was connected to 2 batteries, with electrodes attached to the prisoner's genitals and feet. When
Man, I'm just skipping this part, ladies and gentlemen. You obviously get what the device is. I don't wanna explain it.
Whether Christian or not, we have all likely seen the iconic image, the beaten and bloodied figure of Jesus Christ upon the cross. By far, this symbol of Christianity is the most famous depiction of crucifixion, but he was not its only victim. The method of torture and execution, known as crucifixion, began in the 6th century BC and continued into the 4th century AD. Upon converting to Christianity, the Emperor Constantine abolished its use within the Roman Empire. Like many torture practices, its methodology was simple but excruciating. The accused, most often a religious or political agitator, was stripped, beaten, and then strung
you
the
get
beam.
The point, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's all for today's video. I know I've skipped a lot of parts because there was too many parts that you don't want to see me reacting to, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, you get the big picture. As I told you before, links are down below. And what do you think about this video, ladies and gentlemen? And what do you think about this execution method in the 21st century? You know, for people who are doing bad things in the society, like, you know, raping women, killing young children, you know, the list goes on and on. So, what do you think? If these execution methods are used today in 21st century, will there be stoppage of, you know, crimes against women and small children? Well, it's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. If you do like the video, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, do hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, and as usual, ladies and gentlemen, follow me on all the social links are down in the description below, and I'll see you on the next episode of Student Review. Take care. Peace.